I find myself saying this far too often recently, but golf clubs are getting more and more expensive. Hi everyone, my name is James Robinson and welcome back to this YouTube channel. Today I have two clubs that should do exactly the same job, but one is double the price of the other. Yes guys, that's right. Today we have the Callaway Apex UW hybrid against the 11 XL2 hybrid. So both these clubs are fantastic options for anyone who struggles with long irons or driving irons or even fairway woods. You see, often hybrids were determined as the kind of really forgiving golf club, but then hybrids got a little bit kind of narrower, a little bit lower launching, a little bit lower spin, and all of a sudden they weren't that forgiving at all. You look down at these two heads here and you can see they are two gigantic hybrid heads. So I've got both these in 17 degrees of loft. Now one of these is £299, the other is £160. I know it's not exactly double, but it's near enough. One of them has an adjustable loft sleeve, the other doesn't have an adjustable loft sleeve. Common sense would dictate the expensive one would have the adjustable loft sleeve, wouldn't it, Bob?
It would.
Let's hit some balls, because that I just don't understand what's going on there at all. But we'll go Callaway first up here. Now, the Callaway is a fantastic look. There's a stone on the tee there. I don't want to damage this £300 club, so there you go, Bob. You have. It wasn't a boulder. You didn't have to move. Have I put the bag in the total wrong? Sorry. Do you want me to move? I'll move the bag for you, Bob. It's fine. It's fine. No, Bob, I'll move the bag for you. Don't worry. Honestly, not a problem at all. But looking at this, huge fan of the design, huge fan of the looks. It does feel and sound really, really good, actually. So let's see what we get down there with this 17 degree. A great option for anyone who struggles off the tee. And that's exactly why. That is the perfect shot with a club like this. And I've kind of come into this video thinking, right, we'll be a little bit of the kind of Robin Hood and we'll steal from the rich and give to the poor and try and show people what deals they can get. But I have to do that with this club for Callaway, because what they've made here is an outstanding option for anybody who doesn't like hitting tee shots, pretty much. And I'm devastated because I roofed it, Bob.
Damn.
I duffed it on the fair. I did a Dave Harrison. Can we do that again? £300, you'd hope so. Can you buy consistency? Not too sure you can, but we will have another go. Carbon copy. And that was actually struck out the toe. So you do get the feeling of feedback with this Callaway club. And I'm going to say it, I think that's gone absolutely miles. We are going to jump in the studio with both of these clubs to compare them and see, guys, what differences would you anticipate and hope for £160 against £300? When you start talking dollars, that feels like even more. I know, obviously it's not, but if we now jump into the 11, and I went down to visit the guys at 11 just a couple of weeks ago and spoke to Nick, the chief designer. I think they are thinking about putting movable weights in clubs like this. The fact they're going to think about doing that and keep it under £200 is quite remarkable. You can see here we do have the weight at the back, so that is going to be a little bit higher spinning, a little bit more forgiving, a bit higher launching. But this is the one with the adjustable neck. I find that outrageous that you can change lie and loft on this club and you can't on this club. Do you think that's strange? But anyway, the Callaway does have that weight forward, so that's why maybe it would suit my my iron swing a little bit more. Right, 11, much broader looking, much bigger looking, very forgiving looking. We've got a KBS TD shaft in here, so nice premium component. Wow, look at that go. Now immediately a higher launch, immediately more spin, and I do think that even for the slower swing speeds, this could be a fantastic option. Callaway have tried to make in their Apex UWs, in fact I'll show you, they've made a forgiving model. Well, they're actually the same, but they've made a high loft and a low loft. And you can see the low loft in the 17s is like a different shape. So it's a bit smaller, a bit sleeker. I do like that, but then I think if you're going for the smaller one, you'd just go normal hybrid, wouldn't you? The beauty about these clubs we're comparing today is it's a hybrid, but it's not a hybrid. £30 worth of head cover there, and I've just... Right, the head cover game as well, you've kind of got to give that Callaway, haven't you? Yeah, that's... 11 could up the game with that, like, personally. It says 3 on it, there is a 2, I lost the actual one. Can we flight this down just a little bit, try and squeeze every last yard out of it. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. That's 4 outrageous tee shots with all of these clubs. Let's get down there, let's see what the differences are out here on the course. We are going to test them in some different scenarios and of course test them for numbers. But guys, these videos are way more about you than they are about me. Get in the comments below, which one could you see yourself using in 2025? Right, I'm not going to lie. This is going way better than I anticipated it would. I love a forgiving golf club. I love the potential of saving money. And I want to talk briefly about the price of golf clubs and what's happening with them, because I think all luxury goods have gone up, haven't they? You look at cars, you look at watches, you look at leather goods. Not that I buy much leather goods, that's more Bob to be fair. But when we do start looking at things that cost money, since the pandemic, they have gone up and up and up. And golf's no different. Like a new driver now, £600, which is absolutely staggering to think. So these D2C brands, and I class 11 as that, I class Tacoma as that, I class Vice as that, I class Kirkland as that, Callaway, H, I think they're doing God's work by bringing you guys golf clubs and hopefully saving you money with them that still perform pretty good. Now, I wouldn't anticipate that this 11 is going to perform as well as the Apex, just because I've seen the R&D that goes into the Apex, I've seen how much has gone into it, and to be honest, I've tested it quite a lot. But if it can come close for that money, Bob thought I was doing a walkaway then, didn't you, Bob?
I did, yeah.
Then who's the real winner? Okay, so you can see we have 3 balls pretty much directly in a row here with the 11 and the Callaway, and we have 1 ball which is a good 15-20 yards further up there. Now, the one that's further up there is the Callaway shot that we hit second time round, and that's quite interesting because I'm very pleased that the 11's got the consistency. We've got front to back dispersion, we've got side to side dispersion, very clever. Now, would you rather have the consistency, or would you rather have one that goes 20 yards further? Albeit that was a better swing, it was a more powerful swing, it was a better ball flight. I think I'd like to be in the knowledge that if I can produce that, I can get that distance. Let's jump inside, let's talk some numbers for these clubs, and then let's come back out and really put them through the paces, because these aren't just clubs for off the tee, the clubs for pretty much everywhere that you might struggle, which is a bonus for everyone. That's a little bit of a necky one. Really good to see though, a necky strike with a club like this carries well over 200 yards. Like for me, that's quite frankly a ridiculous shot, 222, and I nearly shanked that. By the way, did you see what I did there, Bob, with it?
Oh, yeah.
That really upset me. Did you see that in the edit? It really upset me, that. Wasn't what I wanted to see. That's as good as I've got. So when I was testing this club and doing all the kind of reviews, this is what I was wanting. Look at that go. 230 yard carry, 248 yard total. Now, if that's a shot that you have in your locker with a club like this, I think that makes it worth the money. I'm sorry, I know it's very, very expensive, but it's a this is one of the best clubs on the market for me if you like the idea of a hybrid but still really like fairway woods and you're not really sure what to do. Like, it could be a great club off the tee, a great club on par 5s, a great club on long par 3s. And you've seen that although we do have a drop off on bad shots, there's plenty of forgiveness there. That's another good one. 3,000 spin on that as well, Bob, so that's like really nice and controlled. 237 carry, 251 total. Now the difference here, and we will have discussed this out on the golf course, but I want to cover it again because we're going to hit this next. You can see how Callaway have moved that weight forward. So the CG's close to the face, you can drop that spin down a little bit. Now, where I think 11 have kind of got them a little bit is we've got a movable loft sleeve on here. So I can put that as to what I want it to with the loft, and I can't believe that Callaway would charge £300 plus and not put an adjustable loft sleeve on there. It's a fantastic club. I was like, just what? And they'll say that adds weight, so we can't then put the discretionary weight where we want it, and that compromises the whole being of the club. They haven't said that to me, but that's exactly how that conversation would go. Now looking down at this a little bit more fairway wood like, can we get anywhere near that 250 mark with this? That was a little bit heavy. What's that one? Is that one carried over 200 again? Nearly. That was really nice. You can see how kind of much higher this is launching. That's pitched over that 200 mark, 200 12 total. Now because I think this is going a bit high. And the beauty about this is we do have the adjustable loft sleeve. And I know you might say it's not a fair test, but for 11 to put an adjustable loft sleeve in here for that price, we're going to use it. So that lofts it down a little bit. Oh, that was gorgeous. That was absolutely gorgeous. What's that one pitching? 210 releasing up to that kind of 230 yard mark. You can see there is a difference here. And I do think it's because of the spin rate, and I think these clubs are going to suit different people. I think if you want that CG close to the face, the Callaway is going to be the one for you. But if you want half the price and you want that CG back and easy to launch, these XL models are really, really good for that. You can't really flight them down and get, like that's the stock shot you're going to get. 4,000 spin, nice launch, pitching around 215, 210, releasing up to 225, which is good. I don't feel like I could bring that down at all. Ooh, although am I doing that a huge disservice? Because look at that. There's the shot, 2.7 spin, 240 yards, and that, it's still not there at 250, but that is the cat amongst the pigeons. How do they perform outside? Because if the difference is minimal out there, maybe we're onto something, Bob. Look at that again. So far for me, the beauty about both these clubs is the size and the forgiveness elements of them. I certainly feel like the Callaway has a little bit more versatility, which is a strange thing to say when we know that obviously the 11 club does have that adjustable sleeve. So maybe that does make up for it a little bit with having that weight back. But like I said, I do feel as though this is the club that if you want a forgiving club, you would probably go for. It's almost like a bit of a kind of Frankenwood between a fairway and a hybrid. You don't see many hybrids with that much real estate behind them. And I mean, we put this down on the deck, it's not teed up, and it's so easy just to kind of send up there and launch nicely. I've hit that ever so slightly out of the toe. In fact, I've hit it quite a long way out of the toe, but I don't feel like that's lost any distance. I don't feel like it's kind of losing much. The spin rate might have dropped a little bit, but it's still going to land and run nicely. Now, if I were to go, say, from here right out of the rough, it's sat down awfully. Do I get a similar launch? And like, that is frightening. To say how much that was sat down, to me, I was quite worried that we might hit bench there, but you can see we've kind of not really interrupted the turf too much here, and it's kind of glided through really, really nicely. So quite happy with that with the 11 XL2. That's two big ticks in the box for me there. Now, if we start to look at the Callaway, funny because the Callaway looks smaller, but I don't think it's really that much smaller. Like, it's smaller than the 21 degree, but I wish it had adjustability. Like, if you could adjust this down to like 15, I know that'd be stupid because then you're getting towards where your 3-wood is anyway, but if you've got this in the bag, I don't think you need a 3-wood. Did we get these to like 250, Bob, with numbers? I think it was. So it does show that these clubs are very, very good and very, very powerful. Oh, and you can top them. That's what a lot of people will say, by the way. You know, like if you're not a hybrid fan, they are easy to top. We'll leave it in, Bob. But then the next shot, you can hit something like this. Much better. You can see much more turf interaction there with that one, but again, quite happy with how that's gone. Now, if we do look at out of the rough, I'm gonna move that. Am I stood on that? No, we're okay. Can we get that similar flight? I've actually struck that better out of the rough than I did from the tee box, and I think there's a really cool story there as to just how easy to hit and how forgiving these clubs are out of the rough. And that's where a lot of people are going to be using these. If you've got 200 plus yards into a par 5 or a par 4, yes, they're great off the tee. We can hit bad shots, we can all hit bad shots, but we've seen the good, the bad and the ugly here. And for me, would you spend an extra £140? I think I would, you know, but I think it's disgusting we don't have adjustability. What would you do? Right, so we're into the wind here on the par 4, and I wanted to quickly just test the versatility because we know that the Callaway doesn't have the adjustable neck. I probably harped on about that a little bit too much, but the 11 does have that weight backwards. So does that mean I can't play it low? Because I like the idea of a forgiving club. Bob, we've still got the mic on. Just saying. No. Oh, the camera wasn't on. No, in the car. Anyway, right. So can I just chip it down the right side? Keep it nice and low. Try and keep the spin rates down. Yes. That's everything I wanted to do. You can see nice turf interaction. You're going to have that element of turf interaction when you play a shot like that because obviously you want to compress it down into the turf. Now, what about the Callaway? Because we've tested the Callaway quite a lot. We know that we do potentially have a little bit more versatility. I do think that's almost, I don't know why I've done that. That was a rookie error, wasn't it? But I do feel like that's almost what you're paying the money for. So we'll wait for the greenkeeper to move. We'll try and play the same shot because so far, both good off the tee, both good for numbers. I think the Callaway shows it is a little bit more superior with the numbers. We can't kind of beat around the bush, but I can't argue with that. We've got a jogger now, Bob. He must be freezing. Can we play this even lower maybe? But you start to try and play it too low and you top it. I'll tell you what, how good was that? That's exactly how I wanted to play that. I know the bush kind of got in the way, but so versatility check, Callaway checks out as well. How good was that?